So I've just gone back from the tournament. Uh, I'm going to be going back there soon because I've just gone back from the semi-finals. And the finals, as I predicted, would be is Tord Reklev, who I've of course spoken about in my portfolio a lot, and is the main focus of course, this documentary. Um, and he will be going against Isaiah Bradner. Now, as I have previously stated, Tord has made a tech box type thing with Charizard, which is one of the main focuses of the format. It's the deck that was most popular. It was the 25% meta share. But he has designed it in such a way that it kind of goes against what they were teching for the deck. It plays a lot of disruption cards, such as Team Yolchid, Giacomo. And yeah, so I will be, of course, talking about the match after the match is finished, but I'm going to head over now back to the tournament center and I'll watch the match.
So when going into a big tournament after rotation, such as EUIC, how do you prepare for the meta? Do you follow the Japanese format by any chance?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a massive field like this, especially EUIC, where we've got over 2,500 players, it's all about understanding the meta. Going into this tournament, we are very privileged that the Japanese meta is ahead of us. So we get a lot of results, we get a lot of content creators online. We start to sort of formulate lists, formulate decks that we can really start to look into, and that's kind of the first step of any sort of preparation for a tournament like this. And then it's just starting to hone down.
So how do you normally prepare for a tournament?
I'll definitely look at all of the Japanese results first. That's normally my starting point. And then I'll try and formulate my idea of what the sort of top 8 to 10 decks are. Yeah. And then I'll start grinding games into what I know the best decks already are and see if I can make any changes with those sorts of decks and have just really basic starting points. That's how I start.
So do you use Limitless TCG for using this?
I'll use Limitless, I'll use Pokeka Book for the Japanese data. I'm always watching the article sites, lots of YouTube. Basically anywhere I can get information, I'll be looking for it.
Awesome. Do you try to counter the meta, or do you go for a more simplistic list, more Tord Reklev style with the 4/4 lines?
I typically try and keep my text as limited as I can. I'll try and have the most simplistic list. Like this last week, I've been trying to add as many trekking shoes into my deck as possible compared to tech cards. So I'm very much not a believer in my own deck, and I just want it to work as much as possible. So I'll always try and squeeze in an extra consistency slot over an extra tech.
How do you decide to choose a deck? Do you go for more of what's most popular? Do you go for what counts as the most popular deck, or do you go for a secret deck like the Gouging Fire that won Thailand?
For picking a deck, it's a lot of the time I will eliminate decks that I know that I won't enjoy playing at the tournament, even if I think they're good contenders. Like, for example, this weekend I wouldn't play Chen Pao, even though I know it's a really good deck. It's just not something that I enjoy playing myself. And for me to be able to put enough testing into any deck, I want to be able to enjoy my playtesting process as well as my weekend itself. So for an IC, I wanted to have quite a simplistic, easy deck to play, so that even in the 9th round, the potential 27th game of the day, I can still play at a decent capacity. So I'll try and stick to decks that I know I can play to a high standard.
If you decide to choose a deck, do you prefer having a certain play style? Do you prefer going into the stool decks, or do you prefer a more creative deck like Lost Box?
I mean, for myself, I've had the chance to play both a lot. I played Snorlax at the last event, but I do like having a lot more control under my I have a draw power, so I'm quite happy. It's really dependent on the field and the meta and what I predict it to be. So for EUIC, it's a massive Charizard target. So Snorlax control or other Pidgeot controls are great into that kind of matchup, right? And then just being able to choose the cards is fantastic. I mean, the Lost Zone engine is quite similar. When you come to Flower Select, you're always playing with selecting the right cards and making the right choices. But yeah, it's always dependent on the meta. You could pick very fast, powerful decks like Turbo Hands. Start taking a lot of prizes very quickly. But just being a bit more thinking involved, I think allows you to have a much longer and stronger mid and late game. And that's what I enjoy most.
Yeah.
Trainers, you're joined by myself, Shay Burton, and the one and only Tord Recklef. And today we're going to get to know Tord in other ways that you might not get to see normally on the stream. So you said you've been playing since you were 11. What would you say has been your favorite deck that you've ever created?
So I think I take a lot of pride in the Zorak Lysipod deck I built for EUIC in 2018, I believe. That was a really cool deck. Zorak GX was relatively unrepresented at the time. It was just released. So I spent a lot of time and effort trying to figure out how to play the card as best as possible. And then eventually ended up with this Zorak GX Lysipod deck that had a very different engine than before, like had a lot of emphasis on the Zorak GX tradability and just drawing cards. So probably have to go with that one because it was just so unique compared to how all the other decks were built at the time.
Yeah, I remember that deck very well, and I lost to that deck at that event, and it was truly poetry in motion watching it play. So if Zorak was your favorite deck you've ever built, what's your favorite Pokemon though?
Favorite Pokemon is not Zorak, but it's Celebi. It's kind of my little green lucky mascot, I think.
Have you ever managed to play Celebi in a deck at an event?
I have actually.
Oh, okay. Talk to us about that.
So I played, it was not too long ago, it was like 2 seasons ago now. I managed to play the amazing rare Celebi in my Urshifu Intellion deck. It had a very niche job because it could hit a couple dark Pokemon for weakness that were like normally relatively difficult for Urshifu to overcome. So it was like this Hoopa V especially that an ability to turn it into a psychic type as well as a dark type, but it still had the grass weakness, so I could one-shot it with my amazing rare Celebi. And yeah, it came in really clutch, winning an event in Milan actually. So that was really cool.
Now, that must be amazing, winning an event and having your favorite Pokemon be an integral part of that as well. I guess my last question for you now, Tord, is that, you know, you've accomplished almost everything you can in the Pokemon TCG, but yet you still continue to go to events and play all the time. What keeps you motivated?
I mean, I think it's just the law of the game. I still have a lot of fun just on the individual event themselves, and also like each and every game I play, I have a lot of fun with. So, when I'm not, you know, playing Pokemon testing for events, I play Pokemon for fun. I'm just playing all formats, right? So like, I just really enjoy the game, you know, all the way through.
Okay, so I just got back from the European International Championships, and I wasn't able to talk about the finals because we went home straight after the finals. But it was great. It was what I predicted it would be. I predicted that Tord would win. He came in with a very teched out Zard box, being able to beat the decks that were meant to be countering it, such as Lax, Snorlax Stool, Pidgeot, Snorlax, all of those decks. And he came away with the victory. This meant that this would be the 5th international championships that he's won, which is insane to think about. He's won the Latin American, the North American, the Oceania, the European. He's won everything, which is amazing. And it's really shown how he can evolve a deck that was so good last season and then make it even better with the addition of new cards such as the Prime Catcher. He added old cards such as the Team Yellowsteer, which we've never seen in the deck. But he predicted that Snorlax would be big, which it was. He faced 2 of them in top 8. First in top 8 and then one in top 4, and he really came away looking better than ever, you know, evolving a deck, creating history as the most winning player, and just proved to everybody why he is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be in Pokemon. He has really made a case for himself to be the best of all time, even better than the person who came first at 2 worlds in a row, who won 2 world championships in a row, as I just said, which is just amazing. But it was a really good event. It proved to be meta changing. You know, many decks came away better than they looked going in. Some decks like Great Tusk, which I was really hyping up before, didn't come away looking as strong because people teched against it heavily. With cards such as Patrol Cap, which meant that what Great Tusk was meant to be doing, which is getting rid of cards in your opponent's deck, it was impossible because Patrol Cap stops that. So yeah, but really good event, good solid event. I went 5-4, lost my winning in today too, which was unfortunate. But I've still gained 50 points from this event. Still making my journey into the World Championships, only a couple points away now. So yeah, really good event.